Hey, welcome in. Uh, this is your host, Ghosty, and welcome to my, I guess, podcast or yeah, podcast you could say. Depending on whatever format you are hearing this or viewing this. Um, this episode is more going to be like an update and what I'm intending to do from now on, and just basically talking about all sorts of stuff. Um, that kind of stuff. I did a very short version of it on TikTok. If you want to check that out, you can go ahead and do that. And sort of just talk about stuff. So yeah, this is more like an experiment. But yeah, experiment more than anything kind of thing. So God, I'm gonna try to keep it as short as possible. Not saying like I don't want to do it like too short or too long. I guess you could say just figure things out, because there's a first time for everything, right? So, what I've been doing for the last 2 months, just basically, it's like I mentioned before, I came to have like a little bit of a realization about myself more than anything, and that is to basically you could say just reconstruct certain habits and focus in on my mental state and have a little bit of a development phase more than anything, trying to sort things out, trying to figure things out, if you could say, right? So at least for me, as some people are aware, for last year was that for most of the year I was just in survival mode, right? Just trying to get through the day, doing the things that I needed to do, and thinking of nothing else, right? But I came to a realization, and thanks to some people, that now, that no matter what I do or how things are, there's always going to be struggles. There's always going to be something I need to worry about, stress about, or just being anxious and paralyzed, per se, right? So I kind of wanted to, like, the best way is, like I mentioned on the TikTok, that the way that I was trying to do or figure things out is to basically train the body and mind, right? So it's more stems for like the belief on the inside side of things. I guess you could say you can use that definitely as a reference for Japanese culture, right? And yeah, I just wanted to train the body and mind. So basically, I've been more than anything, I've been practicing mindfulness, right, and developing good habits for myself and for my development and my growth, and building that mental resilience, and also just basically training my body, right? So for those who are aware, I sustained an injury on my right knee quite some time ago. I'm doing this what's the word? Charity. That's the word. Charity. For that I'm very proud of. 100%. It's called Stop Soldier Suicide. They present challenges every month for creating awareness for just for mental health and for suicide for soldiers that are in service or out of service and veterans, you name it, right? So usually the one activity that I do the most is during that time was rucking, right, or rucking or backpacking, right? So, and during one of those events, long story short, basically, I just sustained an injury. I was going up top of the hill. My boot just completely just busted on me, and I was carrying like almost 65 pounds dried, if I remember, with my Alice rock, medium size. I really love those Alice packs, by the way. And the first thing that went down was my knee, and then I rolled downhill all the way. God, it felt like forever though. And yeah, I had to go back into my car, which it was I don't even know the distance actually. It took me almost like an hour or something to get back to the car and go back home and check my stuff out. And there was a lot of bruising, and it looked all around my knee and everything, especially like in the upper part of this. For some reason, it looked completely almost black. So went to the hospital and everything like that. As much as I really did not want to, went to the hospital to at least check that out, see what's going on, what was the damage, And yeah, long story short, my knees. It was a puncture. If I remember this correctly, I had to search in the papers. It's been a while. There's been like a puncture rupture on my one of my tendons connecting to the knee. I think it was the MCL or ACL. They all sound the same in my head, so my apologies. Um, but yeah, basically, just I had to go to surgery for repair. Not a reconstruction because it wasn't that bad to need to be reconstructed, but it was definitely like it's just a repair for it. That was one of the options, and the other option was just tough it out, just do some resistance training, and go for it for the long haul. And of course, and it's not like I have like thousands of dollars laying in my bank account, or be able to be in rehabilitation, physical rehab for the next 6 to 7 months after surgery. So I decided, nah, I'm not doing that. And it's been very detrimental for doing things at least before, on a daily basis. Even the simple concept of like crouching and I don't know. Pick stuff on the stuff on the floor very often. It was very, God, it was painful. And so I'm not gonna bore you with the details of the last year, but the point of this I'm trying to make is that due to that injury, because if there's one thing I always like to say about myself, not like, but I had to say about myself, is that I'm very resilient when it comes to sickness. I don't often find myself being sick whatsoever. But I hate the fact that I have a weak constitution when it comes to just how my body is structured. And I mean by that it's just injuries, right? So nowadays my knee, but I also have some smaller injuries that, for me, in my mind, they're very insignificant. The only one that has been huge has been my right knee. I have rolled ankles. God, not gonna bore you with the details. It's been a couple. But yeah, essentially it's just working on my body, just trying to do better and everything like that, and also just being careful what I eat. I'm not trying to do anything like crazy or anything like that, or be a bodybuilder or something like that. Just trying to be fit, trying to be more athletic. Definitely doing a lot of stretching, resistance training. Again, like I said, weightlifting, to just be stronger. Especially for my lower body, which is hamstrings, quads, my knees, calves, you name it, right? Because in my mind, that's like my biggest weakness, right, for doing anything. But now that I got things kind of like sorted out, and I definitely have felt better, more. I haven't felt this good since before the injury for the longest time, right? So it's been pretty good. Still trying to learn a lot. It's definitely a learning curve. Just trying to do weightlifting, and just learning all this stuff. What should I eat? What should I not eat? What I need to take into consideration. I wouldn't say like dieting, but more definitely just keeping an eye out of what am I eating, the amount of calories, the macros. Of course, now I have to be paying more attention to protein, just because weightlifting, building a little bit of muscle. Again, not doing anything like bulking up or anything like that. It's just being more toned, just being more physically fit and healthy. And so yeah, so that's not like on the physical side of things, and then on the mental side of things, I've been slowly paying attention to my routine on a daily basis and when I do things. And normally I see myself very often just investing a lot of time, not only like at work, but outside of work. Just, I wouldn't necessarily say like wasting my time, but I definitely was doing a lot of the stuff that I wanted to do, and not necessarily the stuff that I had to do, right? So, like, for example, I'll be like doom scrolling on my phone for hours to no end on just social media for no reason whatsoever, or basically just playing games. Video games. So there's nothing wrong with playing video games. I love some video games, but I have to be aware that it's fine if I don't invest like a couple hours playing video games, but there's definitely other things that I need to be paying attention more. You know what I mean? And learning and reading books and just not spend so much time on, I guess, in electronics or in stuff that is entertainment only purposes. So I've been trying to be careful with that. Again, this is definitely I would say the learning phase for it, and still trying to figure things out for the most part. Um, and I've been reading just books and just trying to learn and implement some concepts that I seen from I would say influencers, right, or people that just basically just know their stuff. One and also very insightful books. For example, this is one is for like entertainment. I've been reading the novelization for Death Stranding. Freaking love that video game. And I got the novelization. I've been reading it and just comparing. That's a whole different subject though. But in the meantime, I've been reading the Book of Five Rings by Miyamoto Musashi. Very insightful. Definitely, it's a book that I had to read over and over again to internalize what Musashi was trying to say or trying to convey, at least to the readers and everything like that. Of course, which each book it comes with different translations. So, for example, there was another book that had a different translation than this one. It was very much confusing, very hard to digest. So I just kind of went with one of the better ones. Translated by William Scott Wilson. Highly recommended. It's very insightful. What else? So I've also been reading The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Also definitely kind of insightful, especially for certain things that I'm trying to conceptualize. And then also been reading Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. How U.S. Navy SEALs lead and win, especially with the sort of thing that I try to achieve in my career. Trying to get myself into that leadership role. Definitely, like the way that I'm thinking about it, there's technical stuff can always be taught and everything like that, but I want for more. I want to develop the characteristics and just trying to implement certain things that I need to do so I can be ready when I can be in that leadership role, right? Because at the end of the day, being in that leadership role is way beyond yourself. It's always about others and the objective or the goals that you're trying to achieve. There's always the bigger picture, right? And also I have my journal here that I've been kind of writing my thoughts. I have a smaller one that I usually carry at work. That one, the smaller one that I have in my backpack, it's a soul pack. And I usually have it for writing down my thoughts and everything like that, especially stuff that is either positive or negative. For the most part, it's negative stuff, of course, because that's what it's just human nature. Is what we easily. It's one of the first things that just goes through our body and mind. Just negative aspects about things, and yeah, just writing my thoughts and just breaking them down, understanding where is it coming from, why am I feeling this, why am I thinking about it, and just having a better understanding and grasp of just what my mental state is and how I see things and everything like that. Again, just being more aware. More than anything, just trying to be mindful and be more aware about myself and just trying to be better. If there's something wrong with what I'm thinking or what I'm feeling, then trying to fix it somehow. And easier said than done, of course, right? So, for example, some of the stuff that I have reading here, just some of the habits that some people has been that I follow, and also just some close friends that kind of just help me just fit some stuff like some morning habits to develop and everything like that. So stuff that helps me, good habits to develop in the morning. Habits that helps with productivity. All right, and then habits are bad habits. Also to detach myself from the bad habits are quietly killing my mental and my physical performance on a daily basis. life lessons that I learned or to be applied to. What else? Things developed throughout the years. That's more of a long term kind of thing. Different again, easier said than done, right? Um, 5 habits to build that mental resilience. Um, yeah, stuff like that. Just taking into account all this stuff, right? It's definitely is a long journey. I know this is not easy for quite a lot of people that are going to this similar growth. It takes them years to get to a point where they can see the fruits of that. So at least mentally, physically, it's a whole different aspect about it. But mentally, it's a very uphill battle, especially for people like me myself. I consider myself a very grounded and negative person. And I mean by that is that always the first things that come to my mind is very negative, like uh, or very I would say non nihilistic, but definitely like narcissistic, if I can label myself like that, right? So it's just definitely a lot of character traits that I don't necessarily agree with myself. And so everybody has their flaws, right? It's just for me, I want to work on them more actively, and just build that mental resilience, because at the end of the day, the thing that has affected me a lot for the last year is outside factors that I just don't have any control. So if it's out of my control, why am I letting myself be affected so much that derails my daily goals or just my daily life in general, right? So, and not only that, but also other people's narratives, right? Other people's narrative has also been very detrimental to to how I felt emotionally and mentally. So, say for example, like, and not only like in narratives, but also narratives and stuff that is just absolute, so more like objectively. I would like to say, like for example, the day, right? The day remains the day, however you look at it, and it still remains itself beautiful and consistent. Of course, with the weather and the seasons, everything change, but the day is there, and so we wake up in the morning or whenever you'll wake up, and you know I'm trying to implement that state of mind of being grateful, because I'm alive, I'm here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't necessarily mean like I having like a great time on it or anything like that, because everybody struggles in all different kinds of level in life, um, more so than others in some certain areas, of course. But the point of this is just to be grateful what I have and the people that I have around me, and just create that positive mindset about things, right? So at least for me, the way that I'm trying to do it is to process what I'm feeling. Like, let instead of just trying to put my feelings on how I'm feeling in the moment in the back burner, which most likely than not is gonna it's it's gonna come back at some point. Definitely bigger and more difficult to deal with. So definitely, it's more letting things flow, be fluid about how I'm feeling about it, let it process it, internalize, and let go, which is the hardest part. It's about letting go, because when we're starting to dwell on those thoughts or how we're feeling, um, it becomes baggage, right? So with it being baggage, it's just unnecessary weight on your mind, and inhibits a lot of things that you want to do, or at least slows down, right? So it's always better to let go, just process it, learn whatever that you gotta learn at the moment, or just internalize however you need to, and then just let go. There are other things to worry about, you know. So, and letting go is the hardest part to do, at least for me. I'm I'm a person that I'm so I get so stuck up in things in the past and the what ifs and what could have done, and what if I made this choice instead of this, or what if I said this instead of this. That even on stuff that happened years ago, or even a decade ago, that doesn't matter anymore, right? Sometimes it just happens, and if life happens, one way or the other, and whatever we like it or not, whatever the outcome comes from it, it is what it is. You know, the only thing we can do is just process it, learn the lesson that comes with it, at least the good parts of it, and just move on. We got other things to worry about. We gotta worry about the future and how that's gonna look like. But also being present. By being present, we are much more aware of our surroundings, and just how beautiful things are around us. Even even when with all this, I would say, darkness that surrounds us in the world, right? Um, it's just trying to be that light, trying to be that life, that spark of joy. At least for me, like let me give you an example, right? So usually at work, right? A lot of people, I work in the mornings, right? And so like a lot of people really, I guess from what I notice, I guess in my environment, not a lot of people are really very full of energy and joyous first thing in the morning, right? Because usually like I go and clock in like at 4 in the morning, right? And I mean, who wants to be up at 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning, right? At least for most people. And but for me, at least for me, I developed that part of me where I can just get up in the morning and just go. Um, doesn't necessarily mean that I'm like already smiling and giggles when I wake up, but it's just that I need to get up and go, and be active, and and bring that positivity, right? Because that's the thing that I focus more at work. Not only like yes, like I'm an all or nothing kind of guy at work, so I usually hustle as much as I can. I do the best that I can on a daily basis. Just because like once I get into that comfortable spot during the day, it's very hard for me to get out of that. Right, so that's why I usually just hustle, just do the best things I can, and but again, the thing I'm trying to say here is that I work like I mentioned just now. A lot of people are really joyful or anything like that. More than anything, once they want, they just want to be quiet, just trying to wake up, do things that I gotta do, and then go. For me, I bring that positivity and that energy of that we're gonna have a great day. We're gonna do the best thing that we can do. And we are, it's a beautiful day. Let's go at it. Let's do the best thing that we can. And also cracking jokes and just helping with motivation and all that stuff, right? So at least that's my role, and like for the most part, it's very, at least for me, my set of mind or how I think about it. People like that, they're trying to emulate it. It's very underappreciated, and it's hard when you do that on such a consistent basis, and not seeing and just seeing how not a lot of people really appreciate that. At least for me, that's more than fine. I don't need appreciation. At least for me, like the gratitude comes from helping shift the mood to something better. Alright? That is what I want to do. Once I see them like a little bit more of a smile, more of a happy tone, that's it. I achieved what I wanted to do. And that brings me, that just recharges me for the next person or the next part of the day. Even when I get out of work and I come back here, I usually try to leave things from what happened at work. Even if, for example, there's a lot of things bad that happen at work, I usually try to leave it behind and move in here with a fresh mind. It eases it and down, of course, like I mentioned. But I get excited to continue on that energy and transition it to here at home and outside of home, of course, like whenever I go to the gym or play basketball or stuff like that. Or so just as simple as going out there and I don't know, getting some stuff for like my closest like Dollar General or something, grocery store. It doesn't matter. But yeah, it's all about bringing that energy, and it for me it's just really hard because like it's I guess you could say it's just it's hard because like not a lot of people appreciate that, and not only that, my mind, even though I'm trying to bring that energy and everything like that from my mind, it automatically moves on to picking up the small details that needs to be fixed. We need to do this, we need to do that, we need to take care of this needs to be fixed. Somebody messed up here, they messed up out here, they need to fix it. Very critical, that's the word I'm trying to look for. Very critical. And I definitely get it. I definitely get it, being critical and trying to be a fixer-upper guy, I guess. But I also have to realize that I also want to encourage that possibility, that encouragement of like, hey, even if you fail or you messed up somehow, just get up back on your 2 feet and try again. Keep trying. Keep going for things. You know. At least that's how I see it. But yeah, again, just derail, sidetrack. But yeah, just be mindful and just reinforcing those positive traits of myself, and also accepting of who I am. Also, that was one of the biggest things about myself is not only do I want to improve the weaknesses and the bad things that about what I'm trying to do, but also is accepting the good things about me. That is so hard to do, I guess, and a lot of people can relate on it, I suppose. And it's just for me, like it's just accepting that my good traits about who I am and what I do consistently. So for me, I try changing a lot of my good traits for other things that I think that are better. And until I realize that there are definitely flaws that I need to work on, but there's nothing wrong with me, you know. Like sometimes what I want to do is very the one thing that want to do is being more what's the word I'm trying to figure out here is the being a figure of authority, I guess you could say. It's trying to emulate some stuff that I never was to begin with, just being that tough guy, kind of be a very like brutal and outspoken and grab things by power, something along those lines. I think you get the picture, right? When in reality, all this time, I always been more of the gentle approach to things, I guess, more empathetic or sympathetic, I guess. Empathy and caring and stuff like that along those lines. Now, sometimes having those traits it can be detrimental to certain situations or certain things that happen. Yeah, absolutely. But I need to be accepting of those, accepting who I am, and just choose a path that I believe it's right for myself. Because at least the way that I wanted my career, my dream career, if you could say, it was for it to be that career, I needed to have some character traits that I did not possess, and so I was trying to emulate those traits that did not work whatsoever, or at least I couldn't sustain them before I revert back to what I usually am. Until again, I have that my eyes were open to the realization that why not just find something that you're going to be proud of doing, but also you know that it's more aligned to who you are as a person. And at first, I just couldn't, like, no, like, I want to do this because I want to be proud of it, because I saw some other people do this. But no, it just, all this time, it just stemmed from me wanting to be something that I'm not. And it was very difficult. It actually, it still is. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure things out. It's a very uphill battle. It's a lot of um, it's a lot of practicing failures and just not let myself be defeated and give up, right? Because that's the hardest thing to do, is try not to give up. Because sometimes there are moments where I'm just like, nah, this thing is not gonna work, or nah, this is gonna take too long, or nah, I just want immediate results. When in reality, it's just, I gotta trust the process, you know, and trust the feedback from others. At least from my close ones, they're kind of, at least for some people that have been around with me, have been seeing me practice these things, they're giving me feedback about how they're seeing things from the outside, you know. And I feel like based on their feedback, I'm going in the right direction, or somewhat in the right direction. So yeah, I just gotta keep things figured out and see how things go, and just go from there, basically. Also the other thing that I need to like upset is the fact that as much as I want to be the guy that wants to have everything planned and have everything in control, everybody has their own personal journey, and not only the journey, but also is, you know, the best way I can say is, life happens. Life happens. So there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be a lot of things that you're unprepared or unplanned for, and we gotta wing it, you know. And I cannot be pretentious in the way of like, oh yeah, I got everything figured out. Even when I see people that are older or my seniors, either friends or family members, whatever, they seems like they got shit figured out, but in reality, they really don't. They're still trying to figure things out at their age, you know, in their late 30s, early 40s, you know, that kind of stuff. They're still trying to figure things out. They're still winging it. They're still learning and everything like that. It's just, we deal with whatever we have to deal with it, right? And so in essence, just trying to compare myself to my seniors. Like, yeah, it's good to try to compare certain things that you're trying to develop, right? But the comparison itself is, it's not gonna get you anywhere. The only thing I can definitely compare is who I am to compare to who I was before. Whatever that looks like, that might be like a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, a decade ago. You know, that kind of stuff. That's what really matters, because at the end of the day, all the things that you need to do or you want to change are not out there on the outside. It's here. It's within yourself, where you're trying to implement those changes. And so yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Within a lot of other things. In the meantime, again, in some other episode, I will talk about it more for things about mindfulness and what I've learned and what I'm trying to do more in detail, I guess. Would definitely help me a lot to expose that, so that way I can have not only people relate to what I'm doing, but also definitely some feedback to see if some other people, you know, may tell me like, hey, you should probably take this into consideration, or hey, I recommend checking this person out, or there's this book that you should probably like consider reading or stuff like that. Because like at the end of the day, there are definitely those people that are trying to do the same, that has been doing this for longer. They know what they're doing. They work for them. Even even if it doesn't work for me, at least I can say I tried. It doesn't work for me for the kind of person that I am, or for the goals that I'm trying to achieve. Let me figure something out. Let me try something else. Because at the end of the day, it's all about being proactive about it, right? So, but yeah, but yeah. In the meantime, though, going back into the stuff that I want to do and have to do, again, I just have to find that balance of the amount of time that I invest on my personal growth to my time at work, priorities that I have to do here at home. Excuse me, and also the stuff that I want to do, just hobbies or just stuff. Again, stuff that I want to do. Streaming, writing, a little bit of content creating, just bringing that positive energy outwards to stuff that I want to do. Because for me, there's a lot of cruelty, a lot of violence, a lot of negative aspects that surrounds us on a daily basis. And sometimes even at home, we don't even, sometimes for some people, they don't even have that at home. Like that person or group of people that supports you or encourages you or gives you that positivity that you need. And so why not just try to do that outside of my immediate surroundings, right? So despite sometimes how I feel about let's say the digital age that we live right now, there's definitely a lot of ways and tools that we can use to bring that positivity, that to positivity and encouragement for people to just grow and to go after it. Because it just, I think that the things that I wanted to also to change stems from me being so passive, by letting just things like flow when I know it wasn't gonna work. It, like, all I'm trying to do is just create that half-assed like excuse, like, oh yeah, I'll just wing it, or uh, it will happen at some point or something like that. When in reality, I have to be, I wouldn't say like aggressive, but definitely be active about it. Uh, because at the end of the day, like, you have to, in order to create a change that you want to change to do, you have to make it happen somehow, in some way. And at least for me personally, sitting around in a chair doom scrolling, or just playing video games with my friends, or by myself, or whatever that looks like, um, that's not gonna help me achieve anything that I want to do. You know, it really doesn't. I have to go out there and make those changes happen myself. For one, I just have I'm blessed with having, uh, some people that I'm surrounded with that encourages me to do so, to not only encourage me but also hold me accountable for what I'm doing. They'd be like, I'll be talking about the stuff that I'm doing and everything like that, and then they will mention like, hey, you said that you were gonna do this. How's that going? And I try to be as transparent as possible. I say like, oh yeah, I didn't do it as often as I wanted to, or oh no, I got sidetracked with this, and they're like, hey, okay, I'm listening, but remember that you gotta do this stuff. It's for yourself. It's for your own development. It's for your own good. So I really enjoy having those people around that holds me accountable. But it's not in the sense of accountable where it's very brutal and abrasive, because I only say this because of certain people that are very abrasive, very cut dry when it comes to that kind of approach. And I guess some people work like that. It just works with some other people, depending on their background, of course. But for me, is no. It's just, yes, like, hold people accountable, and and also point out like, hey, you're doing this wrong. But there's a way to make them listen to you, you know? Because you're just gonna be like, if you're gonna be aggressive about it, more often than not, I just don't want to listen to you. You know what I mean? Because now you got me all stirred out and everything. I'm here like, no, I don't want to listen to this butthole, whatever. You know, like no, that's just not, no, 100%, no. There's always a way to go about it, especially with me, how while reading this book and everything, it really brings a lot of things into account of how to be indirect about the changes that I want to implement on not only on myself but on people, or at least encouraging or trying to make things happen, I suppose. Definitely a lot to learn. But yeah. So that's basically it for this episode. I feel like I talk a lot, and I wasn't very detailed about it. But and then again, I'm oh, sorry Teddy. I'm just figure things out, you know. Like in order for me to, I won't say master, but definitely to be better at what I'm trying to do here at podcasts or streaming or anything like that, I gotta put the work. I really have to put the work. So sorry this episode doesn't seem like much, or it's like all over the place. If it helps you a little bit better, not better, but I also have a little bit of understanding of myself, is that I'm very I just get distracted often, you know. I get myself distracted often, just stems from having diagnosed ADHD since a young age, and but there's some other stuff, more personality trait stuff more than anything though, not only like mental. But yeah, I just get distracted real quick, which is why I really heavily, not heavily, but I rely on having caffeine in my system, you know, to be able to focus and just get my thoughts better, and you know, all that kind of stuff. So but yeah. In the meantime, I'll see if I can if you're watching this or listening to this, I guess the message for this episode, well, it's not correlated to what I'm said before, but see if every episode I'll try to say a message. And the message for this one is to start. Doesn't matter if you know what you're doing or what direction you're going for, or if you know what you're doing or not, start somewhere. And I mean by that is, if you want to make some changes happen, not only for yourself, but you also to your immediate surroundings, for whatever goals you have in your mind, start somewhere. It doesn't matter where. It's better even if you don't know what you're doing, even if the goal is up here and you don't know where you're trying to land, you will land somewhere. It's better than just being stuck here, nowhere. Even if you land here or here or here and then have to work yourself up to that point, you gotta launch. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you don't necessarily have to have all the knowledge. You just have to know. You just have to know that you have to start, and you have to do something about it, about whatever situation you're in or whatever goal you're trying to achieve. It doesn't matter. You have to start and just keep going. Yes, you're gonna face obstacles. There's gonna be situations where it's gonna make things a whole lot more difficult, or circumstances. There's gonna be ups and downs. It's a learning curve of everything that we're trying to learn as human beings, in whatever aspect you're looking for. But it's better to start and go somewhere than not go at all. You know, instead of being so passive, just sitting down, not doing nothing, and sitting around waiting for something to happen. You have to make that change happen for yourself. Because as much as kind of, I wouldn't say brutal, but as bad as it sounds, nobody is gonna make it happen for you. Yes, you can have connections with people and then provide some opportunities for yourself and anything, but relying outside factors for the changes that you wanna make happen, it just no, it's not sustainable. It really is not sustainable. So I really encourage for you to go out there, just start somewhere, learn as much as you can, implement good habits, and just have awareness of yourself and where do you want to be, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to like try to achieve this unattainable or almost impossible or Herculean efforts of trying to get to this goal. Sometimes all it takes is just to start small, achieve those small victories, and they go from there, you know? Because, anyways, we all start somewhere small, right? So, again, it's easier to achieve and more sustainable that way. So the point is just start. Start and do it, try to do it every day. As much as sometimes like your mind or the body is like, nah, I don't feel like doing this or doing that, or like, nah, I just don't have the energy. You have to build the resilience by showing up under hard days, you know? I know it sucks, I know it's very difficult, you just want to be in bed and just lay under the couch where it's warm, not think or do anything about things, or just being immersed in your in electronics or something entertainment based. But in order to make this happen, you gotta do it for yourself, you know. So just be active, be active, proactive, how you want to label it. You gotta do it, right? So that's all I got for this one. Hopefully this helps. Again, this is more an update, more from me kind of thing. I'm not sure where I'm gonna go off with this podcast or episode or series, if you will. It could be all sorts of random stuff, honestly. It can be all sorts of things. Whatever I have interest or feel like talking or needs to be talked about, or more like want than need more than anything. But yeah. So that's all I got so far. I do appreciate you listening or watching this for whichever platform you're doing so. Hopefully you stick around. Just remember you can check out my other stuff that I have that I'm slowly trying to get back into it. You can search me up on Twitch, TikTok, YouTube. Let me explain. Twitch is more streaming for games and just chatting and everything like that for games that I just like to play or multiplayer games. Doesn't matter. YouTube is more for live streaming for games I've never played before or just uploading certain contents there in their own playlist. When you get there. Of course, I'm still struggling with getting content out there, but I'll get there. I'll get there at some point. I just have to create that consistency. TikTok for short form clips, or I won't say like short term because honestly I'm more lenient to doing longer, more length based stuff, I suppose, instead of like the very short attention span based stuff. What else? X, formerly known as Twitter, for my updates of what I do on all my other platforms and everything like that. Also Wattpad, which I usually just write stuff in there for just hobbies and for entertainment. It really helps a lot, and I kind of enjoy it. It's not something I'm saying that I'm going to pursue it because I want to be professional. None of that stuff. It's just for fun, and for some people that are within the fandom, check that out. Have a blast. Good time. That's all there is to it. What else? I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, of course, Spotify, Spoon, for stuff like this, for podcasts and everything like that. And I feel like that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's all I got so far. Again, hopefully I'll see you on the next one. In the meantime, as always, stay safe, stay awesome. Go see ya. See you on the next one.